This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Afternoon, Bob. Saw you on the Zoom this morning. Dave Van Horn was on the Zoom at 10 o'clock. It's fun talking about baseball right now, isn't it? Because it ain't that much fun talking about basketball.
Yeah, I think everybody's ready for baseball. They're starting practice, the first game in for a little while. But, yeah, I think people are always excited for Razorback baseball because it's such a good program. And obviously Dave's, an established coach and is really, built on Norm DeBriyn's legacy. But when basketball is going like it is, which it hadn't been like this in a while, I think people get even more excited about baseball.
I think they were kicking around in the morning rush a little bit this morning about the idea of added pressure to the baseball team because of the lack of success for football and men's basketball right now. Now, I don't think that anybody in that building feels that exact pressure. I think they feel their own pressure of being an Arkansas baseball coach or being an Arkansas baseball player specifically, not necessarily in the context of success for the athletic department as a whole. I mean, they kind of stand apart a little bit. They're set away from campus just a little bit. They've got the longest tenured coach. Baseball stands apart a little bit different. I don't think the pressure has anything to do with football and basketball's lack of success.
Yeah, I think from the fan standpoint, like I said, they get even more excited for it. But yeah, there's plenty of pressure playing for Arkansas and coaching with Arkansas baseball because the expectations are so high. Basically, the season starts off with the expectations of being in Omaha. And, they've made it a lot of years under Dave, and some years they don't make it because only 8 teams get to go. It's kind of like there's pressure in North Carolina basketball to go to a Final Four, and they go a lot, but they don't always go. And last year they didn't go to the tournament. But, Arkansas is an elite program, top 10 program. I've seen them in the polls. They're the top 2 or 3 in most of the polls, even though they lost a lot of great players in the draft. And, they just reload. And, I think there's plenty of pressure just because that program has been so elite and the expectations are high, but obviously nobody's expecting more than Dave Van Horn and his staff and those players.
Hey, Bob, with this basketball team, do you see any hope? Do you see a blow up? Do you see them letting go of the rope? What do you think? How do you see the rest of this season going?
Man, I don't know. Not well. This would be the short answer. I will say this. Kentucky's coming in, and Kentucky's going to probably be in a pretty bad mood because they got, beaten up pretty good by South Carolina. So if you can't get excited about Kentucky coming into your building, I don't care, what your record is. If you can't get excited to play Kentucky, then I think there's no hope for you as a team. And let's face it, for many, many years, Arkansas was the team, along with Kentucky, that would go around the SEC and draw the biggest crowds, and teams would play harder against them. And that's actually a compliment. And that's been the case the last 3 years with Eric Musselman. Arkansas was ranked and, had high expectations and was coming off Elite Eights and all that. And so they got everybody's best shot. And I think, Arkansas gave most teams their best shot, too. They had some letdowns here and there. But so if Arkansas can't give Kentucky their best shot, and I don't know if that's going to be anywhere close to having a shot to win the game, but, this is the same team that beat Duke. And, we don't know Tremont Mark, obviously, not having him last night hurt, but I don't think Arkansas would have won if Tremont Mark had played. Could be wrong. And Trent Brazile wasn't able to play in the second half. Let's face it, he's been struggling. I think that's fair to say. No knock on him. It's just a fact. And so whatever Arkansas has, if they can't muster their best shot against Kentucky with ESPN here and game day here, then I have to question the players' motivation, pride, heart, whatever, soul, whatever, liver, kidney, whatever's part of their body. Because, this season is going down the toilet. And there's still games left, and you got to play them. I think contractors are obligated to play these games in the SEC, and so you can either just throw in the towel and get embarrassed every night, or you can show some pride and go out there, especially against a team like Kentucky. look what's and South Carolina obviously is better than Arkansas because it came to this building and beat them pretty soundly. We're up by 19. But, Arkansas, these guys are college players. They're getting NIL money. They're on scholarship. So unless they just want to literally quit the team, go out there and play your butts off. And if you can't do it against Kentucky, then there's no hope in my mind.
Well, and the hope is that, if things don't turn around, that this is just a one-off sort of a season in a sea of success, which you've had for the last 4 years under Muss. And, you remember that 2016 baseball season. They'd gone to Omaha the year before. In 2016, they didn't have Andrew Benintendi any longer because he'd gotten drafted. They hadn't realized that he was going to be eligible for the draft. That left a big hole in the lineup, a lot of young players there, and it was a really bad baseball season. That's the only year Arkansas's missed the baseball tournament, the NCAA baseball tournament, since Dave's been the coach. The next year, finished second in the division. They hosted a regional. They finished runner-up 2 years after they didn't even make it to Hoover. So there's an example of a program that has had a high level of success, had a little blip on the radar for 1 year, and that's all it was, a blip on the radar. I guess part of the thing you worry about is when you rely on the portal so much, and they're going to have to rely on the portal next year. You just don't have big enough of a class this year, and you're going to have to get rid of a lot of the guys that are on this year's team. It's like you're going into this season like, all right, well, he's a wizard of the portal. You just have to hope that the wizard hat, comes up smelling roses this time.
Well, yeah, I thought about that baseball season. I think it was the 2016 season. That's hard to believe it was that long ago. And that was really uncharacteristic. And if I recall, that team started off pretty well. I think they went to Houston and beat some really good teams. And there was a lot of optimism. And then the SEC came along, and everything just went, bad. And they lost a lot of close games. One thing about this basketball team right now, they're not losing close games. They're getting their doors blown off. And you wonder what would have happened if Tremont Mark, bless his heart, hadn't hit that runner with 1.1 second left. And then the other games in the conference they've lost, I think I had it up right, an average of 20.6 points. The closest loss has been by 10 to Georgia. And here's the thing, South Carolina is much improved. Georgia's much improved. Florida's better. Ole Miss is much improved. Chris Beard's a hell of a coach. But Arkansas's got to play Kentucky twice. They got to play Tennessee. They got to go to Alabama. The good news is they get to play Missouri twice. They get to play Vanderbilt, and there's some winnable games still. But they really haven't, on paper, played the toughest part of their schedule yet. And so, to me, that you just look at it and you say, man, where the wind's going to come? There's a few out there, but at this point, 5-6 SEC wins, but to me, that would probably be the ceiling. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll get on a roll, but just the way they're playing, they're not competitive, and they don't really do anything well. I mean, think about it. Do they shoot well? No. Do they guard well? No. Do they pass the ball, share the ball very well? No. Do they rebound well? No. I mean, what are these? Are they able to get fast break going? No. Are they able to force turnovers to lead easy points? No. I just don't see anything they do very well.
Shoot free throws, okay.
Okay, but they were 10th in the league, though.
No, so, I know, Bob. I know. I was just, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but you're right too, because it's over 70%, which is pretty good, and maybe there's not much difference. And they're getting blown out anyway, so if they hit 5 more free throws a game, so they lose by 21, by 26. So, they're not I'll say this, they're not a bad free throw shooting team. That's been one of their things they do better. They're only 10th in that instead of 13th or 14th or whatever. They're looking for optimism, I guess. But, yeah, and I think they're good individual players. Like if other teams could draft off this roster, I think they're players that would be in demand. But the sum just isn't working. I mean, the pieces don't fit together. But Eric Musselman, this is the 9th year. His first day were pretty good. He took over a Nevada program that's had success historically, but had been down for about 10 years, and he got them going. And the portal was a big part of that. And he came here, and his first team was very small, but they really had some good perimeter guys. They guarded the three-point line, and we don't know if they would have won enough games in national to make the NCAA tournament, but they were right there, competing for a spot. And obviously the last 3 years, 2 Elite Eights and Sweet 16. But Eric brought up this point last night. They had 4 guys on this roster last year who have played NBA games this year. And, Anthony Black, first-round pick, Nick Smith, first-round pick, Jordan Walsh, early second-round pick, and Ricky Council, free agent. He's played for the Sixers. And those other guys have all, Anthony Black's playing a lot. Nick Smith's playing, I think, a fair amount now, and Jordan Walsh has gotten some time with the Celtics. So do we see NBA players on this roster? I know Trevor Brazile was projected as a pretty high pick, and maybe still will be picked based on, being 6'10" and athletic, but certainly he's not playing like a first-round pick. But, the NBA, they draft guys on potential. So Trevin's obviously, he had 19 points, 11 rebounds against Duke. Arkansas needs that guy. But, and he hadn't been terrible. I mean, he's got an average 9.6 rebounds, solid numbers, but they need a lot more from him. And they need a lot more from other guys, too. And it'd be great if Tremont Mark could get healthy. I'm fortunate. I never had migraine headaches, but I know people that have had them, and they're very debilitating. And I saw people making jokes on Twitter about, oh, no wonder this team gives everybody a headache. I get what they're saying, but really I don't think migraine headaches are anything to joke about. So I hope, everything will get better for him, because I'm sure that's really tough, not to be able to play, and it must be very painful. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I wish him the best as well. Bob, last weekend and this weekend are 2 of my favorite in sports. You got the NFL championship games. Are you going to be watching, and give me your thoughts on who do you think the 2 teams that will be playing for the Super Bowl after this weekend clears?
I'll be watching, but it makes me physically ill that the Packers blew that game to the 49ers.
They did. They played. They kind of beat themselves, didn't they? They had a chance if they. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Anders Carlson. Yeah, and then 3 times in the red zone in the first half and 6 points. So, Dre Greenlaw, man, the former Razorback from Fayetteville High, standout. You got to give props to Dre, and I'm happy for him. But no offense, I hate the 49ers. But anyway, as far as the games, I guess I think the Lions are going to win. I think that's. They just seem like they're playing. I don't think the 49ers played very well, and the Packers should have beaten them, frankly. I think that the Lions are playing better. I just think they're in a good groove. I know they got to go out to Santa Clara, but I like the Lions. Maybe I'm looking at that because guys like Frank Ragnow and Dan Skipper. But, of course, Greenlaw's playing for the Niners, and Brandon Allen's on their roster as well. I think he was inactive last week. But, I think it's going to be a Lions-Ravens Super Bowl. But I was 0 for 3 on the college football playoffs, so take that with a grain of salt.
Why not?
Hey, if Deebo Samuel can't go, I like the Lions as well. I think Christian McCaffrey and Deebo are the San Francisco's. They make them tick, and Deebo was out against the Packers. And that their offense is not the same without Deebo.
Yeah, another reason we should have won that game. Makes me, like I say, I hate the Packers. The Packers should have won that game, but we beat ourselves.
So the most
probably nobody else but the Packers.
Hey, you did just enough though to keep Mike McCarthy there at Dallas. You got to like that. You can still beat Dallas next year.
Well, hopefully.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.